Hello there and welcome to my channel. So this is going to be a New Year's Eve video, and I really think that this time of the year truly means very different things to different people. I mean, you have Christmas, you have Christmas Eve, you have New Year's Day and Eve, and likewise, everyone has their own story, everyone has their own thoughts and opinions on it. Some people really love it, some people really dread it, and I want to say that there's probably not enough people who say that you don't have to feel like obligated to be happy, and it almost, to some people it feels almost like an obligation of like, oh, Merry Christmas, or oh, Happy Holidays, as if you are being like conscripted into like you have to feel a certain particular way. And I know that a lot of people, including myself, look at these holidays and almost look at them with dread, just being like, oh, can this finally be over? But New Year's Day specifically represents the changing of a year. And I know that people have done a lot of things about like, oh, look at the past decade. But for me, I've kind of not really been the biggest fan of New Year's Day or Eve. A lot of people set a lot of goals for that kind of thing, and they're like, hey, you know what, this is going to be a huge revelation, everything's changing, the past is in the past and all that. And I think that for those people that's really important for them, and I think that if you look at it that way, that's absolutely fantastic. But for myself, more than anything, and to other people, it's just like, oh, it's just another day. But what I will say is that during New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I kind of get and it might just be a false sense of hope, but I do get a sense of hope, and it's like, it kind of containerizes this event, and this event, and this event happened in 2019, and whether they were good or bad, let's put it in a box and let's move on. And then kind of like just like visualizing like a future, and like, hey, I can do this and this and this, and this is how I want to move ahead. And I think that that is really kind of a hopeful outlook, and that's one that I personally do take into this. But whether you look at it that way, or whether you look at it as in a different way, whether you're not going out for New Year's Eve, I mean, I can tell you for a fact, like, I'm not. I'm just keeping it chill. I'm probably gonna be just playing some Final Fantasy 14, probably just taking things really easy. But whether you are doing something or not, I want you to know that it's okay to feel the way that you feel, and you shouldn't really feel pressured into feeling a certain particular way. I know that it can be very easy to get caught up in kind of like the hype, the emotions, the New Year's Eve kiss with your partner and all this stuff. And I don't think that, I think that that's wonderful for the people that do apply to it, but I do want to like say that if it doesn't, like, you do matter, your thoughts matter, your feelings matter, and you know what, there's definitely the future, there's the future ahead, and that you matter. So one of my personal goals, I guess I'm gonna start kind of like turning this into like how I'm looking at the future. If anyone doesn't like that, I'm sorry. Not intentionally trying to like offend anyone or anything, but as someone who's been through a significant amount of life changes, I wanted to kind of like, I've looked at this channel, I've looked at what I've done in the past, and I really was like, how do I want to move forward? What is the best way forward? And then I look at past things that I've done. Like in the past, I did used to have significant social media following. Nothing crazy, but it's like I used to have an old YouTube channel back in like 2006 that I would upload to. I know, like at the dawning of the YouTube era, and I was like super young, and I was just uploading a bunch of random videos. I think that there was a lot of Final Fantasy X videos. I was doing like AMVs and that, but I did amass a little bit of a following, and that was something that I was really proud of. And then I look at Tumblr social medias, and I know some people might cringe at that, but I was more part of like the fandom side of things, and just like opinions and just like thoughts on stuff, and like a lot more tech. And on there, I hit at my peak like 20,000 followers, and to me, that was a really big achievement. That was something that I really liked. So one of my goals, probably my biggest goal right now, is that I want to just be more myself. I want to be more expressive. Does this mean less Final Fantasy 14 content? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I love the game. I'm obviously very passionate about it, or at least I hope that it comes across in videos. I hope so. But it's just like I have so much to share, so much like that I've experienced in that, and that it's like I really kind of like want to bring stuff to like the forefront and like really just be like true and authentic and like just more human, I suppose. And a part of that is actually explaining why I have been much slower in uploading. And I can tell you for a fact that it is not because I don't care. In fact, it's strongly the opposite, that I really care, and that I'm actually like really kind of freaking out that things have gone the way they have, because the past year has been, actually the past probably 6 years has been really brutal, really brutal. I'm gonna be open and honest saying I have really wickedly bad anxiety, and that there's a fear of, I don't want to necessarily say failure, but of letting people down. And I know that that's something that I'm working on, is just trying to get over that. I also have another thing where I have a very hard time both accepting and celebrating my accomplishments. I I can list them off, but it's very difficult to actually feel anything good towards them, and that it's very easy for me to look at them and be like, kind of like imposter syndrome, just like, oh, you only like lucked out to get this point, and yeah, if you keep going you're just gonna mess it up and you're gonna disappoint people. And I'm not gonna lie, I obviously started this YouTube channel in earnest a few months ago, and to see myself pass 500 subscribers and now past 650 subscribers as I record this is, it's really trippy. I know that obviously that's not like the most amount, but to me it's crazy. And like I'll get into, I will actually talk about this year, because it has actually been one of the few things that has in 2019 actually really panned out. And I honestly can say that I appreciate every single one of you. I have been messaged in games so many times. I have done duties with some of you. I have seen your comments, and actually as I'm uploading this I need to like actually send the responses, because part of me has also been anxious to read some of the newer comments, because I've been worried about people being disappointed in my newer content. But anyhow, I digress. I'm probably gonna get a bunch of comment spams out, and then this video is gonna be uploaded, but we'll see how that goes. With that being said, 2020 and 2019. 2019, to say the least, has been a complete and utter disaster in every form of the word for me. And when I look at New Year and what I want and how things have kind of evolved over 2019, I definitely kind of have a good trajectory in my mind. I mean, I'm not trying to become a Storytime channel, and I plan on getting that Dragoon Ultimate Guide actually freaking done. It's just been, perfectionism has kind of like delayed it and delayed it and delayed it, and then teaching people and having issues with trying to teach people. And yeah, sorry, I digress. But in terms of 2019, I think that I owe a little bit of an explanation to everyone. So come the start of 2019, I was working a software gig at a company that had pretty significant issues. If I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say anything like that, but there were definitely some significant issues. There was a lot of stress and pressure put on me. There was a lot of overtime. I was working from home for a lot of it, and it just became a massive source of stress, anxiety, and that. But it was something that I was passionate about, that I liked doing. I definitely love software development. And I just kept going, mostly because I had a partner at the time. We're no longer together for reasons I'll get into shortly. Just having that partner in my corner really helped me push through, because there were some weeks where trying to learn a new technology stack, and it was there was almost a new technology, what felt to me almost every 2 weeks, that I had to like pick up from the ground up while also performing my duties. And I really, they kind of became my anchor, that I was very inspired to do things and like to keep fighting forward, because hey, I wanted to like do something with them and go on a holiday with them. I was with them for many years, and I was even looking at, in it probably in 2020 actually proposing to them, because it was a very serious relationship. We were looking at moving in together and all this, and it was, yeah, they were basically my anchor, getting me through a very, very hard time in my career. And this kind of continued up until May. I mean, in April, I mean, I was talking to like coworkers, and like they were very impressed with my work. We were ramping me up to actually learn a brand new GIS, or how do you call it, geographic information services kind of technology, and kind of incorporate that into our application. And I was really looking forward to that. Like, I was cracking open the manual, and I'm just like, you know what, this is like really cool, this is really important in the industry. Of course it was more work, but I was really cool and hyped for that. Then came May, and we're re-recording this bit because I'm not gonna go there. Basically, on Wednesday the 8th of May, I was like mid-coding ticket. 12 o'clock happened, and then I got a call from one of my supervisors, who, for the record, is a saint. I absolutely adore them. They are one of my references, and they have definitely been someone in my corner that I definitely trust and respect. And I made a call back to them because I was mid-coding ticket, and I actually don't have my phone on. I have it on silent because I just don't like the distractions when I'm coding. And I was mid-heavy debugging session coding this stuff out, and then I had I'm just going to be honest, a fairly emotional phone call with them. Basically, business wasn't booming, contracts were falling through, and to no fault of my own, I was being laid off. And when push comes to shove, it's just like, that is a fact of life. That's something that everyone's going to deal with. You know what? Business is going to do what business is going to do. Don't be bitter. And I think that I had a pretty cheerful and optimistic attitude, like in the phone call. Of course, I was like devastated, because it's just like, oh my god, I put in all this work and all this effort and stuff. And I mean, there were other things that I was looking forward to having after that. Like, I was looking at a pay increase that was actually delayed because of the contracts, and it just was kind of a really bad feeling all around. But what really kind of killed me was, like, I was talking about how my partner was my pillar. Literally that Sunday, and I'm not even making this up, like literally it was Wednesday the 8th that I got laid off. Literally that Sunday, sorry, I know that there's gonna be a lot of cuts, but you know what, I'm not gonna go there with this video. Basically, after I was laid off, me and him broke up. He refused to be with me, and he said that there were just fundamental disconnects in the relationship, that we weren't compatible with one another, that I couldn't fulfill his needs, that he wanted someone that was just better in some aspects, or like a lot of aspects, and that there was just irreparable damage to what we were. And I was looking at him like he was crazy, and to this day I look at him like he was crazy, because when he said that, it's just like, what do you mean? Like, looking back at the relationship, there was so much good to it. We had so much in common. And then came out the truth that he was cheating on me for months. I don't even know the full extent of how long he was cheating on me. So a little bit of background is, me and him were looking at very seriously moving in together, and heck, actually, even the weekend before, I don't think it was the weekend exactly before the 8th. You see, I didn't really keep track of that, but one of the weekends, it was that weekend or the weekend before that, I was literally over at his place for like a many days stay, and we had an amazingly good time. Like, we were playing games, we were being ridiculous, it was fun. It was a great time all around. We were ordering in pizza. I literally went to Dairy Queen with him and picked up a massive ice cream cake. It was like $50 or $60 or something. It was a like massive cake, and I'm gonna actually bring up the cake later. That cake, keep it in mind. Am I petty? Yeah, maybe a bit, but like, overall, the point is, like, we just had a very good time, and so I was blindsided, completely blindsided by this. Like, heck, I actually even bought hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. Like, I bought a toothbrush just to leave over there. I bought a bunch of accessories, like hand wash, moisturizer, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that, like, when I come over more and more, because we were ramping up for me to fully move in, that I would have all my supplies there. And like, he was fully endorsing this idea and very supportive of it. So likewise, it was a really painful 1-2 punch of the layoff, followed by this, because the layoff, I didn't see that coming. I was literally being like ramped up to like learn this new GIS thing. I think it was like literally Garmin or something. And then I was with my partner and things were looking amazing. And he seemed happy. Like, he literally bought me Stardew Valley, and we were playing Stardew Valley literally the Monday before the layoff. So that was Monday, May 6th. I'll just show a quick screen cap on the screen. And so, between being blindsided by the layoff and then blindsided by the breakup, I'm just going to be honest. I have not handled it well. It was it was really brutal, because after that point I started applying to local companies, trying desperately, can I get a job, can I get a job, can I get a job? And it was to this day I don't have one. And it's not because I don't know how to do the job, because as you're going to see, I'm launching a very big Final Fantasy 14 website in February, or I'm going to try desperately to get it done by 5.2, because I think that it has a lot. I'm not going to give spoilers. I'm going to slowly roll it out and have beta features, of course. But I think that it's something that would really help the community. And I've been kind of like working on it for these past few months. But the point is, 2019 was a massive blow to me. It was a massive blow, not only career-wise, but also financially, because I've had to move in with my parents now full-time. And just counting my pennies and being very careful what I do, what I buy, what I spend, because the plans to move out were obviously ruined. Plans to be with my partner obviously ruined. I mean, I bought him all that stuff, and like, you remember that ice cream cake that I mentioned? Literally, he told me that he ate it all so that he could get over me after I was laid off. And I'm like, even the goddamn ice cream cake. You have got to be kidding me. Even the goddamn ice cream cake. And I mean, you're gonna be like, oh my god, the ice cream cake. And if you want to make it a meme, hell, you know what? When I start streaming in Twitch, and that's a goal for 2020, and YouTube, obviously YouTube. I think that I might prefer YouTube, but we'll see. But like, make it a meme. I might even make it a freaking emoji. Like, don't count me out on that one. I'm petty and spiteful, but it's just like, I bought this massive DQ ice cream cake for us to share, and then you ate it all. I didn't get a single piece of it, and you ate it all to get over me after I was laid off. Are you kidding? And yeah, I know that might sound petty, spiteful, whatever, but even the damn ice cream cake. He couldn't have even given me the respect of the damn ice cream cake. But anyhow, it started coming out. And if I'm getting repetitive, I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry if I'm getting repetitive. But like, after that event, I found out that he cheated on me for months. And it made sense because we did a lot of cute things together. We did a lot of like talking, communicating, and like voice chat and all this stuff, and sending videos to one another. And I noticed that things that he would do in the past, he wasn't doing anymore. And I noticed especially that when it came to well, you know what, my channel isn't geared towards children. When it came to explicit content with one another, he was not doing it anymore, and I was very confused. I mean, at the time, obviously pulling the amount of overtime I was doing and having to learn these technologies on my own, and basically living on Udemy. And no, Udemy doesn't endorse this channel at all. It's just what I truly use to pick up technologies, and it's cheap too, so I mean, meh. But I was living on Udemy and overtime, and then I didn't really notice the full extent of it until after the breakup, and then I found out that he was bringing over strange guys to his place, which he did own, and like, I did not fully move in at that time, and I feel to this day so deeply betrayed from that it really sucks, because it's just like, how many years do you have to be with someone lovingly? Because I think that we were truly in love until like both ways, until maybe 4 months before the breakup, or 5. I think that it was really in late November of 2018 that I started noticing that things were just getting a little fainter. It just, looking back, it just really sucks. Like, how many years do you have to be with someone happily, and then they just go, and then they just are like, you're not worth it? Like, who even says that? And just being like, oh, I don't believe that you can change. And it's like, change what? Change the fact that I'm doing insane amounts of overtime so that I can move in with you and be a contributing partner. I mean, he's an engineer and he made a very good salary. And I felt kind of like inadequate. And so I was doing all this excess overtime, putting in all these hours, learning all these technology stacks because I really wanted a future and I didn't want to just be like useless or whatever. I definitely didn't. I wanted to be significant in myself. And it's like, change what? Change the insane amounts of overtime I did because I wanted to make something with you? Change myself pushing my boundaries because, and I'm not getting into it in this video, but like, I went through a very bad event many years ago that, like, I legitimately sometimes have like really bad panic attacks, and sometimes it even impacts raids, which really sucks, like Final Fantasy 14 raids. But it's just like, I pushed myself and my boundaries so many times to make that relationship work, and it's like, change what? It's just like the most frustrating thing ever when someone tells you, oh, you can't change. Oh, this is just the way you are. And he literally told me that. Oh, this is just the way I am. What do you mean by that? Sorry, I know that this is definitely getting into story time mode, but you know what? I'm on a roll. So it's coming out. But it's just like, I don't know how much of a douche you need to be to tell someone who is dealing with PTSD from a genuinely bad event that they are going to a therapist to like get treated, because it's just like, I I'm not gonna change my PTSD. And for the record, it was like very well maintained through the relationship. It was a very minimal thing, but it was just like, I just wasn't comfortable like walking in an alley in the dark at night, like stuff like that. And I don't think that that's that wild to not feel safe in that position. And it's just really, to be told this is just the way you are. It's just like, what? Me putting in insane amounts of overtime is just the way I am. Me trying desperately to get a career in a city that is not a tech hub is just the way I am. What? Me having PTSD because I was sexually assaulted literally penetratively 5 years ago is just the way I am. I just, I'm, it really kind of defies belief, honestly. The more and more I talk about it, the more frustrating it kind of gets. But like, after that, I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated. I literally spent, I think, 2 months in bed, just devastated. I mean, I lost my career. I was financially unstable now, and I still am. I lost my relationship with a partner that we talked to one another, and we were just like, how serious is this? And like, we were talking about marriage, and like, we even made jokes about his last name and my first name, like how they'd combine together, and like how serious it was. And it was awful. I had to try for a very long time to even pick up the pieces. It was a real struggle, and it's still obviously, I guess, a bit painful, as I'm on what, re-recording 3 now, and I'm still barely able to say it. But one thing that I did do, as I think everyone can tell, is that I started up a YouTube channel for the first time since 2006, 2007. It was early. I was really early on YouTube. And to come from literally having no name, nobody in my corner. Like, I literally remember I asked friends, hey, would you sub to this channel? Hey, would you help me out? Would you send a like? And I remember watching my channel and none of them did. Literally none of them did. And just how lonely that time felt. I mean, if you go back really far in my channel history, I did make some initial Anthem content, but as I think objectively proven by any measurable fact or metric, Anthem failed. And I lost all my subs for there, and then I lost, like, obviously, it just didn't pan out. But to come back and be like, I want to really make Final Fantasy XIV content in earnest as someone who has no name, who has no recognition, who had no backing, no friends willing to like their content or subscribe to them, to come here and see my sub count even hit 50 was really, really a huge win to me. And it really helped keep me going. And it's just like, when I say that I appreciate all my subscribers, like, that's not BS. That's not drama. That's not me in a gray hoodie doing some confessional. Like, I genuinely appreciate all of you. And it really makes a huge difference. And when I get messaged in game and like people want to do content with me and people are just like, oh, why don't you make a video on this? I'm just like, hell yeah. You know what? I want to do that. And just going into 2020, I literally have like a 4K camera literally right beside me, a Sony Alpha 3 or something like that. I'll eventually do equipment setup video. Like, I even have like a spotlight and everything. Like, I'm genuinely looking at ramping into streaming in 2020. And because it's just like, I felt so much support and so much kindness from this community, and I have met so many different people from so many different professions. I've met literally lawyers, I've met doctors, I've met people who were like hardcore raiders, and even back in the days of EverQuest, and I'm like, oh my god, that's like wild. And just the opportunities that have been afforded to me by making this platform. And I'm not delusional. I know that like I haven't even hit 1K subs yet, but it's just like, even already, it's like the amount of support and like joy and happiness that I get from this is just, it's irreplaceable, and it just means a lot to me. So I guess that saying all of that, that's what New Year's is meaning to me right now. That's what New Year's Eve I'm thinking about, I guess, obviously, as I'm recording this video first thing in the morning. But I just, I I did not expect things to turn out the way they did, obviously. But you know what? I am so grateful, and I don't take what I have for granted. I am so grateful for all of you, and it truly means the world to me. I'm so, I've said it so many times that it almost seems ridiculous, but I really am grateful. So my goals in 2020 are to release a significant Final Fantasy XIV website project that I've been working on. I am hopefully going to roll out small beta features of it, not the entire thing. I have most of it coded up now, but not the entire thing. I'm going to do slow rolling just to make sure that things go smoothly. And I'm going to try and do that at the start of February. My goal is February 1st. And you're definitely going to see a video on that. Then my other goal is to start streaming. That might happen in late February or March. And to be more confident in my videos, and for me to be less worried about disappointing people, because I think that that's a huge thing of what I've done. Because it's like the Dragoon Ultimate Guide, that was written like over a month ago, and yet I keep going back and keep rewriting, keep editing, keep thinking, oh, should I lay out the skills in a different way? Should I like pay for like a different edited background or transitions or scenes? And I'm not spending enough time just doing things, because like looking at everything and how much support and love I've gotten, it's like I'm spending too much time second guessing myself. And yeah, I definitely have that as a goal in 2022, is just to like improve. Anyhow, this video got literally like 3 times longer than I expected, and I'm sorry. And to anyone who actually listens to the entire thing, I appreciate it, and I'm also sorry. I'm just being honest. But yeah, thank you. And yeah, that's just kind of my 2020 moving forward. I did not see myself being in this position, but you know what? I'm looking forward to the future. And yeah. And if you're spending New Year's Eve with someone, or with your, whether you're alone, whether you have that New Year's transition kiss or whatever, I really wish you, like, genuinely, like, a happy holidays and a happy new year. And yeah, lots of good stuff to come. Thank you so much.